Hi everybody, it's MC from NotJustScrapbooks.com, and this is day 15 of the 31-day challenge that Maren Smith put out there. And I'm going to show you what I used for my project, and then I'll show you what I did. I used white cardstock. I used this pretty light blue cardstock, and the shadow that you can see is my camera, and I just can't seem to find a way to do this without. I used this liquid applique, which can be used for embroidery and for 3D effects on fabric and paper. And what you do is you put it on the paper, and then what I do is I heat set it, and as you heat set it, it puffs up a little. I use these flowers from Prima. I used the smallest one, and I used one of the leaves. And just in case you want to know where to get it or what it is, here's the item number. I use these one of the resin birds from Prima again in the Shabby Chic Treasures. And here is the item number. I use an embossing folder. Go figure. I have very few embossing folders. I might have like 5. And I've had them for like years. And I never use them. And then all of a sudden, I used one yesterday, and I used this damask one from Sizzix. And I really think this one is pretty. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's hard between the glare and the... But anyway, you'll see what I did with it. And then I use this Martha Stewart punch. And finally, I used this Fifth Avenue collection from Melissa Francis. I used 2 sheets of paper from it. I used this first one here, and then I used this one. And you may have guessed by now that what I made was a card. And here is the card I made. And as you can see, the cardstock I used is white on the background, and then the blue cardstock I used to create this little folder here. And you can see the pattern of the damask. And what's really cool is that you can probably put a gift card in here. Or what I might do is add a piece of white cardstock inside and then just tie it on the outside with a little ribbon. And that way I have a little book. And I could put some pictures or something in here. Now, what I did is I cut this part of my paper out around the flower. I didn't really fussy cut very hard. I just pretty much followed the white flower here and then went around a little bit here. And I also cut out this part of it, right? Oops, I think I was out of camera. Was I out of camera when I showed you that? Anyway, this is where I cut out. And then I used the bottom here, which I will call the fence, and I cut this out as well to use on the bottom of my card. Now, you'll see that the bottom of my card is actually bowed, and I did that just by cutting the fence portion a little wider than the background, and then tucking the sides underneath and gluing them down to the background before I glued the background and the fence to the card stock base. Now for the little detail here, you can see the puffy. This is the liquid applique that you see here and on the top of the fence. And what's cool about that is it makes it easier to, like, it looks a little bit more finished, and it also contrasts a little bit better. Now the bow is hot glued to the picket fence, but all these other elements are actually on this pocket, and that adds to the dimensional look. Okay, so we have our little resin bird, and I always try to figure out what makes this thing focus and not focus. It gets a little hairy sometimes. Okay, there we go. So you can see the bird, and then you can see the white rose, and the white rose is the one from the Prima collection, as is the leaf. And then you have the pink rose, which is Wild Orchid Craft, and the pink ribbon, of course, And that little spirally thing, that is the stem of the pink rose that I cut off, put on, twirled around the bottom of a paintbrush, and then just glued as part of the whole thing. So that was pretty easy. Now, for the inside of the card, I kept it very simple because this card can be used for a multitude of things. And so all I have is a piece of the blue cardstock, and this is where I use my Martha Stewart punch. Just so that it wasn't just a piece of paper. It looks a little bit more lacy. The thing about this that's cool about this card is that you could use it for just about any kind of occasion. It could be a Mother's Day card. It could be a happy birthday card, a get well, congratulations, hope you feel better, you name it. All you have to do is once you decide, is go in and just, stamp a sentiment inside. And there you go. So, I did want to add something, and the something I want to add is about the post office. I don't know if a lot of you know this. We still have this belief that the post office will hand cancel things. They do not. Even if it is hand cancel, when you give it to them, everything, absolutely everything that is not a package goes through their roller machines. So this card will not be sent as a card in the mail. It will accompany a present of some sort and will be in a box. So to protect it, because otherwise it'll get smushed and who knows, the bird could break or the flower would get all smashed. So that's just so for your general information. The U.S. Post Office does not hand cancel anything. I hope you have a nice evening. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.